This is BKL Nightly. I'm Thad Brown, joined by Caleb Carr. Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. Thanks to all of those, of course, who gave their lives in the support of keeping this nation free. Today, we're not going to talk about anything that heavy. We're going to talk about the NFL and the Bills in general, as we always do. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through the AFC and rank each team's skill guys 1 through 16. Actually, we'll rank it 16 through 1. This has nothing to do with offensive lines, has nothing to do with offensive coordinators, nothing to do with quarterback. This is just receivers, running backs, tight ends. Essentially, the way I wanted us to look at it as if I have, for example, the Jets group, would I trade the Jets group for the Patriots group? Now, the answer to that one is obviously yes, but as we go through all these other teams, we will see it does get tougher and tougher and tougher. Speaking of tough, with only two of us here, we might get into a couple impasses and we're going to go back and forth with, okay, you can have this one, I'll have that one. We'll kind of figure it out as we go, but we're going to end up with one ranking. This isn't my ranking and then Caleb's ranking. This is us debating it down to one ranking. So to build up the intrigue and drama, we're going to start at the bottom. And Caleb, I really thought that the easiest two for me were Team 16 and Team 1. We'll get Team 1 in a minute. For me, Team 16 was the Dolphins.
I also did have the Dolphins. And I'll be honest, when you first kind of presented this, I don't think I thought it was gonna be the Dolphins. Because in my head, I immediately go to Devon Achane. And he's really good. I do think that he's one of the better running backs in the AFC. But then you just look at everybody. Or not everybody else. There is nobody else. There's no wide receivers on this team. I don't love the tight end situation. And even when you try to look at backup running backs for Miami, there's nobody there either. So aside from Devon Achane, it's just not a good cast.
Exactly. I mean, Tutu Atwell, Jalen Tolbert, Malik Washington, that's your receiving core right now. So that makes for number 16. So that was an easy one.
Yep.
Number 15 for me was the Cleveland Browns.
Oh. And
I only had the Browns above Miami simply because of Harold Fannin. He's good enough. Now I know the young guys, people are excited about him. The Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston combo that they just drafted, I get that. I was not a huge Denzel Boston fan, and I've never been a Jerry Jeudy fan. So for me, it kept that group here at number 15. Who'd you have at 15?
So at 15, I had the Titans. Tony Pollard, to me, he's okay, but he's not enough to really bump anything up. And then Tate, obviously, Cornell Tate is obviously one of the better receivers that was in this draft, but it's tough for me to do a ranking just based off of a rookie that I haven't seen anything. And then I don't really love, I know Wan'Dale Robinson had a good year last year, but to me, that's just kind of like a one-off. The tight ends to me are kind of a wash. So I had the Titans down there at 15. I don't know. Do you want me to say where I have the Browns?
No,
no. Wait.
I don't think it matters because I had the Titans at 14.
Okay, so you're okay with just moving them down one?
I could drop them down one.
Okay.
I'll give you. I want to hear whether you have the Browns in a minute. The reason I had the Titans ahead of Cleveland is I like the Wan'Dale, the depth at receiver, because not only do you have the first round pick that they drafted this year, the best receiver in this draft, Cornell Tate.
Yep.
I know you have Calvin Ridley, who's probably a husk of himself, but he's still a quality receiver, and Wan'Dale, and Elik Iomanor, and Kamir Dike. These guys were all productive. I mean, the Browns' best hopes right now, even though they're first-round level rookies, they're still rookies. Their guys haven't done anything in the league. So that's the main reason that I put Tennessee ahead of Cleveland, because I just like the receiver depth a little more. Where did you have Cleveland?
I had Cleveland at 16, 15, 14, 13.
Okay.
I probably should have numbered these instead of just having them there. 13, I believe I had them at. I really like Quinshon Judkins. And I know Dylan Sampson didn't really do much last year, but I still kind of have I still think that he can be maybe a productive backup. Quinshon Judkins dealt with some injuries. He came in late in the year, but I still thought that while he was in, I thought he was getting better each week, and by the end of the season, he looked pretty good. I think it was against the Bills that he had that season-ending injury.
Yep.
Yeah, but up until that point, he was looking pretty good. And I think I'm a little bit higher on Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston than maybe you are. And I also love Fannin Jr., the rookie tight end. I thought he looked absolutely great last year. Now, is he one? He's definitely not one of the. He's not like a Tyler Warren or Brock Bowers level, but I do think that was a really, really good pickup for the Browns. Yeah, I don't have them much higher than you, but I think I think maybe I'm just a little bit higher on those rookie receivers than you are.
So if Judkins didn't get hurt, the Browns are 100% ahead of Tennessee because of the injury.
Okay.
And because we're just looking at next year.
All right.
You know, this is not like a long term. This is just for 2026. That was the only reason I did that. Now, that being said, since you have Cleveland higher than I have Tennessee, I'm going to put Tennessee at 15 for our official ranking.
I was going to say, if you want, okay.
And then Cleveland at 14.
Yes,
so we
I'm okay with Cleveland.
I'm
okay with Cleveland at 14, definitely, especially if we're doing this like based off. I think I was looking a little bit further ahead, but yeah, especially if we're doing just this year, then Judkins is could be definitely a wash there.
So we know who you had at 15 and 13. Who did you have at 14?
I had the Jaguars. I'm just not a huge fan of the running back core. Here, give me 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds. Give me 5 seconds to pull it up. The running back core, I don't know who the running back, I don't know who.
Bashal Tutin and Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah,
are the 3 guys.
Who's your lead guy? I mean, those are both guys who've shown that they can be decent in a backup / like committee role, but I don't think either of them are like even close. Not that you need either of them to be workhorse guys, but I don't think either of them are even close to that. Brian Thomas Jr. just didn't really look that great last year. Jacoby Myers is still a decent wide receiver option. Who knows what they're going to do with Travis Hunter? If he is a wide receiver, then that's like a pretty good option. And then Brenton Strange is just kind of like, to me. Like he's okay. He's not one of the worst tight ends. He wasn't like drastically bringing him down in my eyes, like maybe the Miami Dolphins wide receiver core was, but he wasn't really doing anything to bump him up for me.
I had the Jags way higher.
Okay.
I just think there's too much depth with the way that offense was clicking with Washington and Myers, and then you have an elite talent and Brian Thomas Jr. as your third receiver, the second overall pick in Travis Hunter. He may not play receiver at all this year, but he was still the number 2 overall pick, and he's a potential receiver. I can't put him this low, so I'm not going to let you have the Jags at 13.
That's fine.
I will say I had at 13 the Raiders.
Okay.
And as much as I love Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers, the receiving core is nothing right now. So you think about Jalen Naylor and Trey Tucker and whoever else you got. I had them at 13. So you want to give me the Raiders at 13 and we'll hold the Jags for now? I'm not going to push them all the way up to where I had them.
You had the Browns at 15, right?
Yes.
Let's put the Browns there because I had the Raiders.
I put the Browns at 14. We did Tennessee's 15, Browns 14. So Tennessee and Cleveland are off the table.
Oh, okay. So we're at 13 right now.
Yes.
Okay. I'm okay with the Raiders at 13 then, yes. Because I had the Raiders at 12, I believe.
Okay.
16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Yes, I had the Raiders at 12. Same reasons as you said. Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers are elite talents. They really are. But there's nobody in that wide receiver room right now. Like very similarly to the Dolphins, there's just nobody there.
Okay. I have the Jets at 12. In your bottom 5 teams, have we not named any of these teams? So either the Miami, Tennessee, Cleveland Raiders, or the Jets. Do you have somebody else in your bottom 5 other than the Jags too?
No, just the Jags. I had my bottom 5, starting from the bottom, was the Dolphins, Titans, Jags, Browns, Raiders. So that's all my bottom.
So
5.
I still think the Jets are worse than the Jags. Like having the Jets above the Jags, I get it.
I have the Jets at just a couple spots above that. So I'm in a similar realm. Yeah, I think I'm just a lot lower on the Jags than you were. I think I'm a lot lower on Brian Thomas Jr. in that wide receiver core.
I mean, they don't seem like, I do individually, they don't seem like a lot.
But they
did produce.
They were
producing.
Whole lot. They were producing.
Yeah.
I just have like, I know I shouldn't be doing this like rating off like speculation, but I just have a hard time believing that that's more than like a one-off.
That's not unfair.
It's hard, even though we saw it last year. I have a hard time still believing that it's going to continue. But I guess I really have no reason to think that. I think I'm okay with still doing the Jets below the Jaguars.
Okay,
like you said, yeah.
How about Jets at 12, or do you want to push Jets higher than 12? Well, you have them higher than 12. Who else do you have the Jets in front of other than teams we've already mentioned?
The Steelers is the only other team we haven't mentioned that I have the Jets higher than.
Okay. I have the Steelers only 2 spots ahead. Yeah. So
the Steelers, I will say though, when making this ranking, the Jets and Steelers were two that I'm like, they could be where I have them. They could be a little bit higher. They could be a little bit lower. Those are 2 teams that I'm kind of like having a hard time deciding exactly what to do with. So if you have the Steelers a little bit higher, I'm okay with having the Steelers ahead of the Jets.
Let's go through those two teams since we're similar on them.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the DK Michael Pittman combo, because you figure both teams have really like two kind of elite guys. The Jets have Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, and I think I'd rather have them than DK Metcalf and Pittman. Probably just those two, right?
Yeah.
But after that, the Jets have a barrel full of hope, and the Steelers at least have Rico Dowdle, who's coming off a couple 1,000-yard seasons.
That is right.
They have Warren. The tight ends aren't spectacular, but Washington and Freiermuth can both play. Now, look, the Jets, I like the Jets guys. I like Omar Cooper. I think the tight end can be really good.
Yes.
But
Sadiq
again,
could definitely be very, very good.
But I think the Steelers have more concrete, I believe in this, than the Jets. The Jets have a way better upside. I'll agree with that. But sitting here right now, in terms of, like the basis is who would you trade? If you're talking about 5 years down the road, I'd rather have the Jets group. For just 2026, I think I'd rather have Pittsburgh. So Jets at 12, you want to do?
I think I agree with you. Yeah, I think that might be another situation where I was looking a little bit further down the line. Because yes, I think the Jets by far have the much bigger upside, even if it's just that they have two rookies on the team,
right?
Who are going to be starters, quote unquote. So, but yeah, I think I'm okay with flipping those guys.
Okay, so right now we have for our official ranking Miami from the bottom.
Yep.
Miami, Tennessee, Cleveland, Raiders, Jets. We've talked about the Jags, so they're in the mix for 11. We've talked about the Steelers, they're in the mix for 11. Do you have anybody else that is below one of those teams that we haven't mentioned? Because I got one coming up that we're going to talk about. If you don't have one, I want to drop
I do
mine.
not. I think at the point that we're at, we've mentioned everyone I have.
All right, so I'm going to put Steelers at 11 since we've kind of talked them out.
Okay.
Because I have them at 10, and you have them at, what, 9?
Yeah, I believe it was 9.
I'm going to drop them to 11.
Okay.
Maybe not. I'm going to hold them at 11 for now. You know who I have below the Steelers? I have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Really?
I have the Kansas City Chiefs at 11.
Ooh, I am much, much higher on the Kansas City Chiefs.
So here's my argument for the Chiefs, okay? And look, I like
all the way down at 11.
I like Kenneth Walker. Okay, I get it. I don't believe that much in the receiving core after Rashee Rice, because who is it? It's Xavier Worthy, who's fine. We know what he can do.
Yeah.
Tyquan Thornton, who I like a little bit, but he's really a long ball, almost a specialist. Travis Kelce 5 years ago would have been great, but right now he's probably an average tight end. Noah Gray, frankly, in my opinion, is the better tight end on that team.
Are you? Wow.
Right this second for 2026?
That might be a little.
I think Noah Gray is a better,
Travis
more
Kelce
athletic
still
tight end.
I think there's a difference between athleticism. Okay, yeah, I think I agree that at this point in his career, Travis Kelce isn't very athletic, but I don't think that makes him the worst tight end. I think there's a lot more that goes into it.
Part of this for me, too, is that I do think that Noah Gray is a guy that could have a breakout in finger quotes. He's not going to be.
I don't think he's having a breakout until Kelsey's gone.
I don't think that's true. If you want to sit here, if you would let me bet 5-1, because I'd probably get good odds for it, right? On Noah Gray having a more productive season than Travis Kelce, that is a bet I would take. Because of how much they use the tight ends, because of where Travis Kelce's career is headed. I think Gray is talented enough to be functional. He's not great. Could Noah Gray be Hunter Henry if he was a feature tight end? I think he can be.
I think he has that ability to, but I don't think Kelsey's done yet. I mean, he put up 76 receptions for 851 yards in the regular season last year.
I get it.
That's in 5 touchdowns. That, to me, that is better than an average tight end. I know when you look at him play, like you said, he's not very athletic anymore. When you look at him play, he looks like an average tight end, but he's still putting up 851 yards, and that's well above my baseline for average.
I hear you. I'm probably wrong about this. I know I'm on the island here in terms of this argument, but let's back out of the Chiefs tight end thing. I don't want to get hung up on that.
Yeah.
I don't think the tight ends are that good. I don't think the receivers are that good.
I can agree with you on the receivers after Rice. I think Worthy's a little bit better than maybe you're saying, but I do agree that after that you got Thornton and Jalen Royals and whoever else. There's nobody there. But I do really think that Kenneth Walker he's
good. I like him a lot.
Huge piece.
I agree
to this team, especially because he's one of those guys that you look at him on Seattle last year, and there was kind of some split carries here or there. So maybe it's tough to really see how productive he was. But I do think that like in a workhorse role like he's going to have in Kansas City, he's going to be very, very good.
I'll leave the Chiefs discussion here, and we might come back to him. We just got to rank them somewhere.
Yes, I have them a lot higher than 11.
If you took them, this group, I want you to take this group, picture them being coached by Aaron Glenn and Frank Reich and wearing Jets green and white with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and 30-whatever-year-old Travis Kelce. Does it really still look that good of a group? Because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to isolate the skill guys from the quarterback and the play caller and everything else.
Maybe, see, I'm having a hard time with that one just because of what we just said about like Travis Kelce to me is more concrete than Sadiq. And I think even at this point, maybe Rashee Rice might even be a little bit more, like, is Rashee Rice more concrete than Garrett Wilson?
No, Garrett Wilson's way better. I think way better. He's been saddled by a terrible quarterback.
Okay. What about Breece Hall against Kenneth Walker?
That's different. The receivers, like the running back is good. I get that. I think we're looking at them wearing Chiefs colors, and it's coloring how good they are. I think.
Maybe. I think you might be right.
Let's move on from that. So I definitely don't have you on the Chiefs. I'm going to put the Jags at 10. Beside the Jags at 8.
I'm good with the Jags at 10.
Okay. You're not going to let me have the Chiefs at 9 either, I assume, right?
I'm looking. I think there's maybe.
Give me your next team you want to bring up then.
My team at number 9, I have the Chargers.
Okay.
And I still think the Chargers might be. I think the Chiefs might be better than the Chargers too. I think there's maybe do you want me to just tell you where I have the Chiefs right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have the Chiefs at 4.
Okay.
But I will be honest, I think only in my 9 and my 8 team are the two teams that I'm really like, I don't know if I can move the Chiefs below them. But after that, it gets a little washy.
So I will say, and we talked about this before.
Yep.
This is the realm I had the biggest trouble with.
Yes.
Between like 4 and 10.
Yeah.
So you could take, I think, this group of teams, and we'll see if we're all the same, and really mix them around a lot of ways. Now I have the Chiefs at 11, and maybe I'm a lot lower than other people. I get that. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's crazy to put the Chiefs at 4. I don't think it is, because this next 4 or 5
You're talking me out of 4, but you're not talking me into 10, if that makes sense.
We're at 9 right now.
Yeah.
So,
9. Yeah.
Okay. Here's another one that might shock you. I maybe not. At 9, I have the Ravens. I have the Ravens at 9.
Ravens at 9?
Again, look, Derrick Henry is great, and I don't want to even get into the idea of, well, at some point he's going to be bad, because
who is your top 3?
Oh, do you have Ravens in the top 3?
I have Ravens at number 2.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
To me, Derrick Henry is still just so elite of a running back that I can't put him, like I can't, and like Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews are enough, like are good enough. And then
that's all they have.
I mean,
that's all they have.
I will say, looking at the rest of the receiver core, it does get a little bit dicey, but like there were some players, that when I looked at like doing this ranking, they were just so good that I couldn't drop a team below a certain point.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And I think that the Ravens, I think I could be talked down up from number 2, definitely, but like number 9, is that who you said? Number 9?
Number 9. Yep.
That's tough for me, but
and again,
I see why you say that, because of the receiver core though.
After Zay Flowers, we're talking about Elijah Surratt, who I like, and Rashad Bateman, who's okay, but I don't find those guys very dependable at all. And at some point, Derrick Henry's not going to be good anymore. I know it's dumb to say that, because we've said it 5 years in a row. He's made us look dumb 5 years in a row. I get that. But at some point, it's going to happen. But I think
it's pretty concrete to say he's probably going to be good this year.
I think it's fair to say that.
I think saying, is he going to be good in 2 to 3 years? But saying that he's going to be good in 2026, I think is pretty fair.
Okay, I'm not going to sell you on Baltimore, Kansas City at 9. You want the Chargers. I love their potential, but I will be okay putting them at 9.
Where did you have them originally?
5.
Okay.
I really love the athletes. You talk about Rondé Gatson and Omarion Hampton and Keaton Mitchell and David Njoku's on that team now. I mean, like, the athletic potential.
There's a lot of talent there.
Right. The upside there for this year is really ridiculous. But I'll put them at 9 because we need to move on with this. 8, I had the Jags. We had the Jags already.
Yep.
Kansas City at 8. Can I say that low?
I
or
think you might.
Baltimore?
I think you might be able to.
I'll
I
go
think you
KC
can.
8.
I think you
Okay.
can. I think you can sell me on Kansas City at 8.
Okay, we'll hold Baltimore for now.
Okay.
I had Houston at 7.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of their receiving core.
Mhm.
And I think people might not have, first of all, you might want to remember that not only the Texans have Nico Collins, David Montgomery, who's on the screen right now.
Yep.
They get Tank Dell back this year.
Yep.
You know, plus Jalen Noel, plus
Yep.
Jalen Higgins, plus Xavier Hutchinson, who's not great, but as your 5th receiver is pretty ridiculous. Now, Dalton Schultz is pretty average at best as a tight end.
But he's not bringing them down.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I think this Houston skill group is very, very underrated. And I think dropping them at 7 feels like a pretty sweet spot there.
I have them at 5.
Okay.
And it's kind of similar to why to like Henry pulling me up so much. That receiver core is so good. And I think like it's kind of tricky to tell whether or not Montgomery's going to be like a really good running back because he's kind of been shadowed by Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit for so long. But I do think that he still has like enough left in the tank to be a really good running back for the Texans. So I had them at 5. Are we at 7 or 8 right now?
We're at 7.
I would be okay with dropping them down to 7.
Houston?
Houston, I'd be okay with meeting you at 7, and then do we still have the Ravens? Did you want to put them at 6, or did you?
I have the Colts at 6. So let's do Colts. Where do you have the Colts?
I have the Colts at 3.
Okay.
I'd feel better about bringing the Colts down to 6.
Yeah,
But if you really don't like the Ravens enough that you want to get them on the board quickly, I'm okay with the Ravens at 6.
this is a good debate. So Baltimore, Indy, let's do that 6-5 right
Okay.
here. Look, I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor than Derrick Henry this year, right? I mean, this year, where they're at in their careers. So if I have the better running back with the Colts, I don't see how the Ravens measure up between these two teams.
I
mean, look, they're both great, but Jonathan Taylor is not 85 years old, right?
But I feel like, and I could be wrong when I'm saying this, I feel like Jonathan Taylor's had more injury problems as of late than Derrick Henry has.
Well, Derrick Henry's had like none, so yes. I agree with that. But it's still a
and I
younger
know
player.
Derrick Henry's old, but Derrick Henry is also like the LeBron James of the NBA, where it's like, or of the NFL, where it's like, it doesn't matter that he's old, he's still going to drop 200 yards on your head.
That's fine. Let's wash the running backs.
Okay.
I still think I'd rather have Warren over Andrews.
Definitely.
And the receiving cores are just, I like Josh Downs as a second receiver over anything the Ravens have as
I think I
two.
like the Colts receivers better, if that's what you're saying.
So we'll go Baltimore 6, Indy 5.
Yeah,
Is that fair?
I think I like that. I think I like that.
Okay, top 4 now. So we have the Bills, the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Bengals left. Okay?
Bills, Broncos,
Patriots,
Bengals. Yep.
Okay. I had Denver at 4.
I'm good with Denver at 4. I had Denver down at 8.
Okay.
So I'm okay with Denver.
How
at
do you
4.
get Denver down to 8? Because now, well, actually, I know how, but like lay it out for me.
Well, we've already talked about me having the Ravens and Chiefs high.
Yeah.
So already they're up there. I don't really like J.K. Dobbins that much.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Evan Ingram to me is like I think he's good. Like maybe slightly above average to me. I think the combo of Courtland Sutton and Jalen Waddle is very, very good. And then is it Troy Franklin now becomes the third? I never really loved Troy Franklin as a wide receiver 2, which is where I believe, have been trying to kind of like fit him in these past couple of years. But now that he drops down to wide receiver 3, I like him a little bit more. But I think like across the board, other than Courtland Sutton and Jalen Waddle bumping it up a little bit, it was just kind of everyone's just kind of average. You know, like I started an average baseline. J.K. Dobbins doesn't move me. Evan Ingram doesn't move me. Troy Franklin doesn't move me. Jalen Waddle and Courtland Sutton moved me a little bit, and I'm still just a little bit above average, where all the teams that I have ahead of them have players on that team that move me a lot further ahead, if that makes sense.
The one thing, and it does, I'm going to make the same argument from the other side, though.
Okay.
Courtland Sutton, Jalen Waddle. Here are the morass of teams that are behind them. Stop me when you hear a team that has one receiver other than Nico Collins better than either of those guys. So throw out Nico. Ready? Indy, Baltimore, Houston, Kansas City, Chargers, Jaguars. Do any of those teams have a single receiver that are better than Waddle and Sutton other than Nico Collins? I'd say no. So if I have a Denver team where my second receiver is better than anything everybody else has to offer, I can't put them down at 8. I got to put them at least towards the top 5.
I think with Sutton, There's a couple guys that maybe I could have an argument against, but I agree with you that even like if you're even just having an argument about your wide receiver 1 with my wide receiver 2, then my team's better.
Right.
So
okay.
I think I agree with you there.
So we had Denver at 4. So top 3 is Buffalo, New England, Cincinnati in some order. So they were my 3 teams. So I've kind of strong-armed you a little bit into getting my way with the 3 teams at the top. Where did you have those 3 teams?
Bengals number 1. I agree with you there. I mean, there's.
I'm with you there.
I mean, we can get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Quick. It's just looking at the receiving core, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I mean, you mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Broncos, Cortland Sutton and Jalen Waddle, how the wide receiver 2 is better than some other teams' wide receiver 1. That goes triple for the Bengals. T. Higgins is. I mean, I would take T. Higgins over the majority of the wide receiver 1s. In the AFC. I think Chase Brown, like he's still a really good back. I don't think he showed me what I wanted to see from him last year. I think a lot of people had really, really high expectations for what he was going to do in the Bengals offense. And I mean, the Bengals offense as a whole with like the Joe Burrow injuries was kind of rough last year. So who knows? Like I think he could still be very, very good. Mike Gesicki is kind of like, average. He's all right. But when you look at it's really just Jamar Chase and T. Higgins just absolutely carrying that squad.
It is, but like you said, Chase Brown is a big part of this.
He is.
He's a top level running back on a team with 2 ridiculous receivers. And then on top of that, the thing that really gets me when you think about why the Bengals are just a clear-cut number 1, Samaje Perine's their number 2 running back.
Yes.
Is he perfect
he is
for
good.
that? I mean, if you could pick a guy in the league who isn't a starter or a star, to be that guy for that team, it's Samaje Perine. So they're so good. Yosevas is a 3rd receiver. He reasonable.
Yep, he had some some moments last year.
There's too many pieces on this team that they have the stars, they have the depth, they have different things. So I think Cincy with a bullet as number 1, I don't think, of all the things we're going to talk about on here, and obviously my Chiefs takes being at the top of the list of things people will disagree with, the Bengals at number 1, I think, is the easiest one to do. So let's dive back into New England Buffalo.
Yep.
Okay, first, let's really hash out Buffalo against New England for a minute here. I know we did this a couple shows ago doing the whole team, Bills versus Patriots. But in terms of just the skill guys, the thing for me went this way. The Bills have advantages at running back and tight end, and I think that's without a debate.
Yep.
But New England has 2 guys in Travion and Ramondre who I have full confidence in that can both be not only lead backs, but game-changing lead backs. Stevenson's done it for a long time. Henderson had like 3 or 4 home run runs last year. I buy into Ray Davis as a lead guy. I don't know if he's a guy that's going to bust off a 60-yarder like Travion. Ray Davis is going to get you 20 carries of 4.5 a carry and get 120 yards that way, which is still good. But the point I'm making is that the Patriots have 2 guys who I think can be game changers, and the Bills just have James Cook. The Bills are still better, but it brings New England closer. And then at tight end, the Bills' room is just so deep and good. But I can't depend on Dalton Kincaid right now. Hunter Henry as the Patriots' lead tight end, I can depend on him. Again, not to be better than Buffalo, but to pull them close enough up so that when we go through the receiving core, and again, we're doing New England with A.J. Brown on the team. A.J. Brown is a better number 1.
Yep.
Romeo Doubs is a better number 2. Matt Collins is a better number 3, or whoever it is. Kayshon Boutte is a better number 4. Pop Douglas is a better 5. So when I look at New England's receiving core and I go, all wins, head-to-head, and I can't give the Bills ridiculous wins at running back or tight end, that puts New England on top for me.
Not that it changes a whole ton, but I think you can make an argument that Clear Secure is the better wide receiver too over Romeo Doubs.
You can make the argument.
I think you can make the argument.
But I think
I'm not saying you're going to win it, but you can definitely make it. You can't make the argument for any wide receiver 1, wide receiver 3, 4. You can't make it. Wide receiver 2, I think you can make it.
If you're generic team X, so let's say, I'm trying to think of a team that wouldn't have a specific need for one player or the other. Say you're the Saints. Maybe this is a bad example. I'm not going to use that. Say you're the Cardinals. Let's go that way.
Okay.
Would you rather have Shakir or Romeo Doubs for this year? I think I'd probably rather have Doubs. It's a close.
I mean, if I'm looking at See, it's tough because like if I'm looking at the Cardinals, they have two receivers who are like predominantly like outside guys.
Yeah.
So I would go Shakir because he's the inside guy.
Right.
He's
I was
just
trying to
he's
avoid
so
that.
good on
Yeah,
the side.
yeah,
I know.
Michael Wilson. All right.
It's tough. It's
All
tough.
right, let's move off that. Go back to the bigger picture, Bills versus Patriots here.
I think that I agree with you on the wide receiver, obviously, other than like maybe wide receiver 2. But like if you want to give the win to Romeo Doubs, I'll still agree with you that the Patriots have the wide receiver room by a mile. I think you're putting the running backs and the tight ends a little bit closer than maybe I am. I think I can agree with you on the tight ends. I mean, Hunter Henry is incredibly reliable, and this is probably, I knew this was going to happen at some point when I made this list, that the Bills fan in me was going to come out and put the Bills a little bit too high. Well, I put them too low because I had them at 6, but I do have them above the Patriots. I think that I'm maybe buying into Kincaid a little bit more, especially with, I think I'm just believing the stuff that we're hearing from OTAs about him being healthy. Like he's healthy, he's ready to go, he's the best he's felt, he's better than last year. I think I'm believing that a little bit more. I think I still believe like Dawson Knox as that 2 option, and then I think I just love Jackson Hawes. Like,
who doesn't? Yeah,
like who doesn't?
I get that.
But like I just love Jackson Hawes. So but I do agree that Hunter Henry is probably the most reliable out of any of those 3. So if you want to have those pretty close, with the Bills still better, I can agree with that. But I think I have Cook. I think there's a bigger separation for me between Cook and Stevenson and Henderson. Like I said, while they're both good running backs, you can only give the ball to one of them at a time. And while they're both probably going to make the play, I think James Cook is also going to make the play. And Stevenson, to me, like, it's tough because I want to talk myself into the Patriots because they both bring you kind of different play styles. They're different types of running backs.
Sure.
But I also think that Cook can do what they both can do, but better. I
think that's
Cook
fair.
is just
That's fair.
Cook just looks better. Now Henderson, I'll say, I think Henderson has the potential to be very, very good. I think Stevenson, we've reached his ceiling.
Agreed.
We're there. Henderson can show us a lot more, and I think Henderson can get pretty close to Cook, or at least where Cook was last season. But for right now, I think Cook is way ahead of both of them. And just because they're both on the team doesn't move it up too much for me. It does a little bit because, like, okay, you got 2 options, but I don't think it's moving them as much as it's moving for you.
So let's go Buffalo or New England, 2 and 3. Patriots over the Bills. I mean, it's tough.
Think
I agree it's tough.
I think I can agree with you, Patriots on the Bills. Honestly, I'll give you Patriots over the Bills just because we're putting the Bills at 3 and I had the Bills at 6 to begin with, and I do want the Bills to be higher. So like I'll cut, like if we were further down the list, I would be really stingent on Bills have to be higher. But I think especially just with AJ Brown, like AJ Brown, if he's on that team, which all signs are pointing to he will be, just completely changes that offense.
All right, let's talk about, you had New England Buffalo 6-7. I had them 2-3.
Yep.
Give me your reason why you had those 2 teams a little lower down the list.
So the teams I had ahead of them, I had the Texans at 5, the Chiefs at 4, which you were a lot lower on, the Colts at 3, the Ravens at 2, which you were also a lot lower on, and then the Bengals at 1. And I know I did look at like depth and stuff, and that's why the Texans were higher for me, because the depth at wide receiver is just insane. But for the rest of them, I kind of looked at it as how top heavy are they? The Bills have Cook, and that's about it right now. As a star. I think DJ Moore could be a star. I think Dalton Kincaid could be a star, but right now they're not. Same thing with the Patriots. I think Henderson could be a star, but right now he's not. Assuming that AJ Brown is there, he's the only star. I think the rest of those teams, outside of maybe the Texans, but the Texans also, like I said, have a really deep wide receiver core.
And a ridiculous star at the top.
I think the rest of those teams have 2 stars. I think I would consider Rice and Walker both stars for the Chiefs. I would consider Taylor and Warren definitely both stars for the Colts. I think you can... I think right now I would put Flowers in that star category. I think he was really good last year, and I think he can continue to improve. Henry is still playing at a very, very high level. He's that star. And then obviously the Bengals, like we talked about that. Everyone on that team's a star. For those teams, that's where top heavy star power kind of took over for me. When we were down in like the 10, 11, 12s, I was looking at the depth a little bit more. But when we got up, it was, okay, this guy's just so ridiculously good that it doesn't matter that I don't like the wide receiver 3. He's just so good.
All right, I hear you. I like the process.
Mm-hmm. I think we might have also both went about the ranking a little bit
For
differently.
sure. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
I don't agree that Rice and Zay Flowers are in that star caliber player. They're close.
Okay. Would you say that DJ Moore's better than both of them then? Or would you say they're better than DJ Moore?
For this year?
For this year.
Yeah, I'd rather have DJ Moore. Now, I could be wrong about that.
Is it because DJ Moore's getting the ball thrown to him from Josh Allen?
No.
Okay.
Again, this is irrelevant.
All right. Just making sure.
Look, Rashee Rice, I think I'm being colored a little bit by the fact that he's going to jail for a month right now.
Yeah.
And you wonder how much
you definitely could.
Could this be a problem at some point?
It could.
Not this particular arrest, but the fact that his behavior is this erratic. And I just don't trust Zay Flowers week in and week out to be at that level. To where I don't consider him a number two. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say that these teams don't have a second star. Okay. So I look at Buffalo with James Cook and the Patriots with AJ Brown, and they're the same as these other teams that just have one guy at the top. And I like their depth. And
you like the rest of them more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where I would argue both those teams ahead. Now, let me ask you this: you talk about teams having 2 stars, but you have Denver at 8. And they have 2 stars, right? I mean, let's go back to the question you just threw at me. Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton. How do you rank those 3? Because I have Cortland Sutton ahead of both those guys.
Ooh, Cortland Sutton. That's tough. Man, they're like all right there for me.
They're close.
Like they're all in the same. I think you can convince me. I don't know why. I think I just really like Zay Flowers. And I agree with you that you can't really trust that he's going to show up each week. But I think when he shows up, he shows up. And I don't really know if Cortland Sutton just hasn't really been at an elite level for me, at least this past season.
I agree. But how often have Rashee Rice and Zay Flowers been at elite level? And I'll go back. I'll throw the same thing at you. You threw at me a minute ago.
Go ahead.
I think those 2 guys having the balls thrown to them by Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson might make them seem a little better off than they are.
It could. But I like Bo Nix more than you do. So
right. But prior to Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton has had
I think
the third stringer from the Sisters of the Poor thrown to him.
I think that they are all right in that same bucket. That you could pretty easily convince me that Cortland Sutton's the best, but like you can't convince me that there's a huge gap. Like I think that they're like if Cortland Sutton's number 1, Zay Flowers and Rashee Rice are right there, and to me there's
But if I can knock Zay Flowers and Rashee Rice off the star pedestal for you, and then you look at Buffalo's depth with Shakir and Ty Johnson,
if
and
you're
Ray
knocking
Davis,
if you're
and all
knocking
the tight ends,
Zay Flowers and Rashee Rice off the star pedestal, then I would argue that Cortland Sutton should be knocked off that pedestal as well.
Okay, he can be knocked off, but he's at the top of the next pedestal, in my opinion.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
So that's why I push Baltimore and Kansas City down a little bit, because if those guys aren't
stars,
aren't offense pushers by themselves, and I don't think they are, then you got to look at the group you have. And I like Buffalo and New England's group better than Kansas City and Baltimore's group.
I think I can definitely agree with you on the Chiefs. If you're gonna knock Rashee Rice off of that, then that makes sense because Xavier Worthy is an okay wide receiver too. Travis Kelce, we talked about a little bit. He's declining. I still think that he's playing at a really high level, but definitely not elite like he used to be. And then I don't think Kenneth Walker's good, but like he's not like I would put him at that star level, but like not even in the same vicinity as Derrick Henry. I'm okay. You can definitely convince me that the Chiefs need to come down. But I'm still higher on the Ravens, even if it's just because Derrick Henry is so freaking good.
And that's not unfair. Like if you sat down and said, hey, 2026 Derrick Henry is going to be the same as 2022 Derrick Henry, then Baltimore
probably
2
will be.
Then Baltimore 2 is probably a reasonable thing to do. I also think Mark Andrews, I don't know if I can continue to trust him at tight end. And remember, they lost Isaiah Likely too. Yes. Before, when you looked at their tight end room and said, they have Andrews, who should be good.
They also have Likely.
But if he's not, they don't have Likely.
No,
and they don't even have Charlie Kohler, who went to the Chargers, who's a valuable blocking tight end. And one more thing with the Patriots that we haven't talked about at all, to push them a little higher, they do have Reggie Gilliam. And I know he's not a big-time player.
You didn't put fullbacks in the text.
He's a running back.
You just said, he's a fullback. He's a fullback.
He's a skill guy.
He's the best fullback, but he's a fullback.
Are you calling Reggie Gilliam not a skill guy?
No, he's a skill guy. He's a skill guy. He's a skill guy. I'm sorry,
All
Reggie.
right.
I'm sorry. I do, unless you have somewhere else to go. where would you have the Patriots if something falls through with the A.J. Brown thing?
That's a good question.
Where do you put the Patriots?
So, all right. So now Romeo Doubs is the number one receiver.
Yes.
They don't really have any stars. So I'm going to go through my list here.
Yep.
This is our official ranking. So Cincy, New England, Buffalo, Denver, definitely not ahead of those. Indy at 5. No, I mean JT and Warren by itself. Baltimore, we just talked about a lot. They're still ahead of New England.
Yep.
Houston, we love the receiving core.
I do like Houston.
Still not New England. Chiefs, Walker, Rice, Worthy. I think we're getting into the New England.
We're getting close, but I think I would still put the Chiefs ahead.
Chargers, I really love the potential with Njoku.
I do
Getson.
too.
So I'm still.
Where do we end up with the Chargers at?
9.
Yeah, like that one's so tough because like I really, really like them, but like you have to. I feel like we have to put them at 9 just with the other teams. But I do really, really like the Chargers. I think I'd put the Chargers ahead of the Patriots without Brown.
I'm with you. If this were a Los Angeles podcast, we'd be talking a lot more.
Oh yeah,
because I have thoughts on the Chargers. I think
I
think they could be really good.
They could be very, very good.
Okay, but we're still dropping New England without AJ Brown.
Yep.
Jags at 10. I mean, the Patriots would have.
I don't love the Jags. You kind of
backs.
convinced me at bringing the Jags up. So I would probably personally put
Jags over New England.
Put the Jags over New England. But I would say, where do we have the Broncos? Where did they fall?
Denver at 4.
Denver. Oh, we had Denver way up. Yeah. Never mind. I'm out.
So Jags at 10. We're still dropping. This is like Aaron Rodgers on draft day. The Patriots are still sliding. We got Pittsburgh at 11. I mean, geez, now you're talking about DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman and Warren.
Like that's like the Steelers are another one of those teams that like Jalen Warren isn't bad.
Right.
Like he put up good numbers last year, and I'm actually really excited to see what the duo of
him and Dowdle.
Well, yeah, him and Dowdle. I completely forgot about Dowdle, but I was going to say DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman. I'm excited to see what that duo looks like. And Pat Freiermuth is still like a pretty decent tight end. He's still up there.
So New England behind Pittsburgh with no AJ Brown. It feels wrong, but
it
man, you
feels
start thinking
wrong.
About
but
it.
like when you think about it,
I would probably rather have the Pittsburgh
I
group.
still do really like the Patriots wide receiver core outside of like AJ Brown gives them that star power,
true.
But they're still so deep. Like I still think that the Patriots without AJ Brown, the Patriots wide receiver 3 is better than
the Steelers.
The Steelers wide receiver 3.
Jeremy Bernard, who would probably be. But the Jets are at 12. We're not dropping New England behind the Jets.
I don't think you can.
No. So I think it's ahead of the Pittsburgh or behind. I think ahead of Pittsburgh. So we'd have New England at 10.
I think you can give me ahead of Pittsburgh. I think you can. Yeah, okay. I think ahead of Pittsburgh would be.
Without AJ Brown, they're number 10.
Yeah, they go from 2 to 10. Then is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, AJ Brown's that kind of guy.
Is AJ Brown that good?
I think so.
And that's why I had the Ravens at 2 because I think Derrick Henry is that good.
No. I mean, like I just said a little while ago that like we cannot every single year say, oh, this is the year Derrick Henry's going to fall off, and then he doesn't.
Why not?
I know. Did you call him? You called him the LeBron of the NFL, I think.
LeBron of the NFL.
That's correct. Okay. That's a good debate. That's a good discussion.
It is.
And
I still don't.
And I hear you on Derrick Henry. I just don't. I think the thing for me with the Ravens is I don't buy into Zay Flowers and Andrews.
Yeah, I can.
After that.
That I can understand.
And they lost Keaton Mitchell too. Whatever.
Yes,
I'll tell you what. We shouldn't continue to talk about this. We're deep into this podcast, but Justice Hill is a pretty solid number 2 back.
He is.
Like that's we talk about Samaje Perine being very good. He's similar in that role for the Ravens. Okay. That is it. Thank you very much for everybody for listening. As always, you can check this podcast out on YouTube and on Spotify. We're back again on Thursday. Rachel Liebert, I think, will be back. Probably talk more about the Bills' OTAs and how practice is going. Hope you enjoyed us going through the AFC skill position rankings. I know you didn't agree with all of them.
Definitely
The Chiefs fans out there, enjoy hammering me in the comments. I'll take it. This is where I land.
Remember, I had you high.
That's right. All right. For Caleb Carr, new Chiefs hero, I'm Thad Brown. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you again on Thursday.